Hi, I'm Tim Karen, head strength coach and co-founder here at Allegaite. We're going to walk through practice one. If you've been a part of the program for a couple months now, you'll notice that the movements are getting layered. If you're new, you're going to jump right into one of our kind of fundamental principles here is, we're progressing movements as we get further along. So if you're just getting started up, just think about that first step and all the movements that are really most important. If you've been doing it, don't lose sight of the basic and the fundamental aspects, because that's really designed to keep you safe, as well as to maximize the performance of any exercise that we're doing. The first series we're going to go through is our corrective sequence, looking at a side roll to elbow post. And what we're really trying to work on is a transitional pattern, which is reflexive, meaning that you're going to be in a position organically, whether you can or can't. And if you're not, it's going to just basically not enable you to do it. What we're looking at is progressing that side roll to that elbow post and be able to transition in a full get-up progression as we progress through these blocks efficiently without any pain or dysfunction. That'll be paired up with a crawl hold with a little bit of information going on between your legs of setting that pelvis, and that's what we call reactive neuromuscular training, or RNT. And what that's doing is hopefully getting that crawl position really dialed in, setting that core, setting that pelvis, so we can go to some big foundational movements like a squat, hinge, row, or press later with effectiveness in controlling our rib and our pelvis. That will progress into a kettlebell swing. So if you're here last block, that was a set and swing. And what we want out of that is that same set position no matter what. So if you're new, every first rep you do is the most important rep you do. So make sure you go right off the bat from that ground position into that height position, getting a really good efficient hinge swing position. And we're going to go 20 reps on that. So if you were accustomed to doing 10 last month, we're going to ramp up the volume, and this is going into that accumulation effect or more capacity. That'll be paired up with a dumbbell tall kneeling overhead press. That tall kneeling is really setting that system up from we go to a squat pattern, maintaining that rib and pelvis position. Think about it, we got two bowls, and we want to keep both of those bowls level. So my ribs, the bottom of my ribs is one bowl, the top of my pelvis is another bowl. And as I start to press or move things, I want to keep both of those bowls level or parallel to each other and not tip one way or the other. And what that's going to do is keep our back, our shoulder, everything else engaged, nice and tight. A question might come up invariably, hey, how come we don't do any core? We do core, we just do it in our functional movements. And we look at that pelvis position, that rib position is controlling. And every time we move our arm or our leg through space, we want to think about controlling that area. And that's where we're going to get our really good core. And this is talking about efficiency of like, how can I get more bang for my buck in my training program? It's just simply maximizing the movements that we do to get that effect that we desire. Following that, we're going to go into a reverse lunge. If there's positional control, it's going to come out here. We're dynamically moving that leg, so the same rules apply. Keep that rib and pelvis engaged. And we're going to pair that up with a bent over row. Good cue is stand up, RDL down, keep that parallel torso, and then we're just trying to pull our elbows up as high as we can. If you feel like you're raising up, probably the load is too heavy, and we need to maybe adjust that hinge position. So we might need to get back to doing a little bit more fundamental movements of getting mobility again and stability again, and really putting a big emphasis on getting a good deep hinge so I can maximize that horizontal row to get as much engagement in my lat as possible. And we're thinking about that more horizontal I am, the better it is it's going to be in terms of getting the desired effect of pulling our elbows up and activating our lats. Finish off with a couple more cars, progressing on what we did the previous block, just to try to reinforce that at the end of every single movement. We're trying to get good corrective, getting good movement, mobility restored, resetting the system, so to speak, so we can come on the next time we train and train as effectively, if not better, than we did previously.